In the heart of an ancient world, beneath the shadow of gods and god-kings, Sarah and I found ourselves entangled in a terrifying game of time. The Pharaoh's proclamation still echoed in my ears. A life for a life. An unbearable sacrifice, one that neither of us could make. But time was running out. The more we meddled with the past, the stronger the forces against us seemed to grow. Each passing day was a cruel reminder of the life we had left behind. The life that seemed more like a dream now. The Pharaoh had tasked us with a mission. A riddle wrapped in the cryptic tales of the ancient gods. Find the Eye of Ra, he had said. The key to the heart of time. Only then the sacrifice can be made. Neither of us knew what the Eye of Ra was or where we could find it. But this was our only hope, our only path back home. The Pharaoh's enigmatic clues led us to the Grand Library of Alexandria, a trove of ancient knowledge and wisdom. The library was a labyrinth of scrolls and papyrus, tales of gods and kings, stories of wars and peace, an archive of time itself. The whispers of time echoed through the vast halls of the library, thousands of voices from an era long forgotten. There was a certain fear, a reverence that made my heart pound as we searched through the ancient texts. The hieroglyphs danced before my eyes, each symbol a mystery, each sentence a riddle. Hours turned into days, and days into weeks, and yet the Eye of Ra remained elusive. One night, as the moon bathed the library in its silver glow, I found myself drawn to a neglected corner of the library. A dusty ancient scroll sat alone, its edges frayed with time. I unrolled it with trembling hands, the papyrus crumbling under the slightest pressure. And there, in the faded ink and ancient hieroglyphs, I found what we had been looking for. The scroll spoke of the Eye of Ra, not as an object, but a place. A sacred place hidden deep in the heart of the desert, a place where the sun met the earth. A place of untold power and unspeakable horrors. The Eye of Ra was a gateway, a bridge between the mortal world and the realm of the gods. As I relayed the findings to Sarah, I saw a flicker of hope in her eyes. But alongside it, I saw fear. The path ahead was fraught with unknown perils, a journey through the unforgiving desert and into the heart of an ancient mystery. But this was a path we had to tread, our only chance to return to our own time. Armed with the knowledge from the ancient scroll, we bid farewell to the Grand Library of Alexandria. Ahead of us lay the unforgiving desert, a sea of golden sand that held the key to our fate. As we ventured deeper into the heart of ancient Egypt, the whispers of time grew louder. An unspeakable horror lay ahead of us, a test of our courage and our resolve. But in this terrifying game of time, it was a horror we had to face. Each step we took was a step into the unknown, a dance with the forces of time. The desert sun was relentless, its searing heat a constant torment. But beneath the torment and the fear, a flicker of hope survived. A hope that the Eye of Ra would hold the key to our escape, the solution to the God King's riddle. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the desert came alive with the sounds of the night. The silhouettes of ancient structures loomed in the distance, a silent testament to an era long forgotten. The whispers of time seemed to grow louder, echoing through the vast expanse of the desert. But amongst the echoes, another sound rang clear, the slow, eerie melody of a flute. And in the moonlight we saw them, ghostly figures emerging from the shadows, their faces obscured under the hooded cloaks. They moved towards us, their bodies swaying to the haunting melody of the flute. We had found the guardians of the Eye of Ra, the spectral sentinels of time. The first test of our terrifying journey had begun. As the spectral figures emerged from the shadows, I could feel Sarah's hand tighten around mine. The flute's melancholic melody filled the desert night, resonating with the haunting rhythm of our pounding hearts. They were 7, each cloaked in garments of ethereal white, shimmering under the moonlight. As they encircled us, the desert's hush seemed to amplify, quivering in anticipation. Then, one of them, taller and seemingly older, moved forward. A wizened face peered out from the hood, the eyes glowing with an otherworldly luminescence. "I am Ankh-Neteru, the Keeper of Time," he said, his voice echoing through the vast desert like a whisper in the wind. "You seek the Eye of Ra. Why?" Sarah squeezed my hand, her eyes mirroring the fear and determination I felt. We want to return home. Our own time." A silence fell over us. Ankh-Neteru's gaze was unreadable, his silence more intimidating than any words. Then he nodded. "A noble pursuit. However, the path to the Eye is laden with trials. Time guards its secrets fiercely. Are you prepared?" "We are," I responded, swallowing the lump in my throat. It was a bold declaration, laced with a hope that fought the engulfing fear. Ankh-Neteru's gaze lingered on us for a moment before he stepped back, joining the circle. "Then let the trials begin." The desert around us shifted. The sand spiraled upwards, forming massive walls on either side. In front of us, the once flat terrain morphed into a series of platforms, each ascending and leading towards a colossal pyramid bathed in moonlight. The final destination, the Eye of Ra. The first trial was the Trial of Shadows. As we climbed the platforms, our shadows, distorted and elongated, sprang to life, mirroring our actions but with a sinister intent. They were embodiments of our darkest fears, physical manifestations of every horror we had encountered, and every horror that awaited us. It was a struggle against ourselves, a battle of will and courage. The second trial was the Trial of Echoes. Each platform became a stage of our past, reflecting our memories, our joys, and our regrets. The desert echoed with the laughter and cries of our past selves, a jarring symphony of nostalgia and sorrow. It was a disconcerting journey through time, a stark reminder of what we had lost and what we stood to lose. The final trial was the Trial of Sacrifice. Ankh-Neteru stood at the platform, his ancient eyes reflecting the solemnity of the moment. "To reach the Eye of Ra, one must understand the nature of sacrifice," he intoned. "You must leave behind what you hold dearest." I looked at Sarah, her eyes welling up with a horrifying understanding. This was what the Pharaoh meant. A life for a life. One of us had to stay behind. "No," I protested. "There has to be another way." Ankh-Neteru's gaze softened, but his words remained resolute. "This is the way of time, young ones. The balance must be maintained." I felt Sarah's hand slipping away from mine, her resolve reflecting in her tear-filled eyes. But I couldn't let her. Not now, not ever. "No," I said, louder this time, staring back at the Keeper of Time. "We will find another way." As we stood, defying the insurmountable odds and the formidable guardians of time, the desert night seemed to hold its breath. Would our defiance bear fruit, or had we journeyed to the heart of time only to lose each other? Would the Eye of Ra lead us home, or deeper into the shadowy abyss of the ancient past? The whispers of time grew louder, echoing our fears and hopes as we faced the final trial, a testament to our courage, our love, and our desperate fight against time itself. Defiance hung in the air, our refusal a tangible force against the solemn finality of Ankh-Neteru's pronouncement. Sarah's hand in mine felt warmer, her fingers clenching tighter, as if making a silent pledge to face whatever would come, together. Ankh-Neteru looked on, his ancient face unreadable under the moonlight. "Then find another way, you must." His voice was not admonishing, but melancholic, perhaps reminiscing countless others who had stood where we did, defying the inevitable. Suddenly, the desert landscape altered again. The moonlight grew harsher, casting an eerie pallor over the shifting sands. The walls of sand towered higher, creating an arena where only the three of us existed. A sudden cold wind whipped up, its mournful howl seeming to carry the despairing whispers of 1,000 lost souls. And in the center, atop a raised platform of gleaming sand, appeared a grand golden hourglass, its sands trickling down relentlessly. "The sands of eternity," Ankh-Neteru intoned, his voice echoing ominously. "If you believe there is another way, then seek your answers here." I glanced at Sarah and saw in her eyes the same determination that fueled my heart. Together, we stepped onto the platform. The hourglass towered above us, its falling sands a constant reminder of our dwindling time. Reaching out, I placed my hand on the cool surface of the hourglass. Instantly, a rush of images flooded my mind. Events, moments, choices. All the possibilities of our lives back home. All the divergent paths we could have taken. The past, present, and future entwined in a dance of time. But among those myriad threads, one echoed stronger than others. The moment we activated the ancient machine. The moment we stepped into the past. I looked at Sarah, her face pale under the onslaught of shared visions. Her eyes met mine, reflecting the same realization. The machine. It was the anomaly, the ripple in the fabric of time that had led us here. If we could correct that. But how? Sarah's voice was but a whisper, her thoughts mirroring mine. We could use the machine to stop us from ever using it, I answered, the idea taking shape in my mind. A ghost of a smile tugged at Ankh-Neteru's lips. A loop to undo the loop. A clever solution. But will time permit such an intervention? There's only one way to find out, I said, turning back to the hourglass. I focused on that moment in our timeline, reaching out through the dizzying maelstrom of time, praying, hoping. Then there was a shift, a tiny ripple that echoed through our timeline, altering the course of events. In our shared vision, we saw ourselves back in the pyramid, staring at the mysterious machine. But this time, there was a difference. A note left by us, for us, warning about the time loop, the dangers, the trials, the sacrifice. Our past selves looked at each other, the note falling from their hands, fear and relief evident on their faces. They stepped back from the machine, leaving it untouched, its purpose remaining a mystery. The vision faded and we were back in the desert, the sands of eternity still trickling down, but somehow the air felt different, lighter. We looked at Ankh-Neteru, our silent question hanging in the air. His glowing eyes held a soft glimmer as he nodded. You have altered your past, and thus, your present. The Eye of Ra accepts your sacrifice. The desert around us started fading, the colossal sand walls lowering, revealing once again the endless stretch of moonlit sand. But this time, there was no impending trial, no spectral guardians, only the gentle desert wind carrying the faint melodies of ancient songs. As we stood there, hand in hand, our hearts echoed with a quiet joy, a sense of victory over the terrifying trials, over time itself. We had found a way, together, but our journey was far from over. The shadows of the ancient past still loomed, the echoes of time still whispered tales of unspeakable horrors, and our path back home was still shrouded in mystery. But now, we had hope, a beacon that would guide us through the darkness, through the echoes of time, back to where we belonged. The whispers of time had become our song of defiance, our anthem of hope, our lullaby of courage. And as we looked into the moonlit desert, our path illuminated by the triumph of our resolution, we knew we would face whatever awaited us, together, until we found our way back home.